All right, what's up, fellas? Time for Wake Up Mintzy. It's Monday. It's cold as hell. It snowed last night in Chicago, but we're here. It's a little depressing, like kind of getting the first of the bad weather. It's probably going to be a long winter, but at least we got football to keep us warm, and we got Stella Blue iced coffee and dude wipes to clean up her messes. I'm Barstool Mintzy. I'm in a pretty good mood, all things considered. I had a great weekend in Charleston, South Carolina, the jewel of the South. Just can't. Every time I go there, I love it more and more. Going to be joined by Tyler Moody here in a second, but actually was worried I was going to have trouble getting back this morning. Flight got delayed for an hour because of the Chicago weather, but it was only an hour. Got back here, got to play against Hank in the Yak Gauntlet, and we actually got some stuff going on outside right now. There's a big crab boil and shrimp boil going on that Mega Making Money's kind of running. So that's going on as well. As always, Barstool Office is rolling. There's a Pardon My Take Monday Night Football stream because we got a pretty interesting one tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles heading to Lambeau to take on Green Bay. I believe it's like 28-degree weather, 15-mile-an-hour winds. We'll get into a preview of that. I put out a parlay a minute ago with Tyler Moody, and a lot of stuff to get into from over the weekend, football-related. But I want to start at the top. The New York Giants fired Brian Dable today. The Giants up 20-10 in the fourth quarter yesterday when Jackson Dart got a concussion. And Caleb Williams, got to give him credit, really showed some heart. Had that 20-yard touchdown run to win the game for the Bears. But Moody, we'll start at the top. Are you surprised the Giants fired Brian Dable today?
I'm a little bit surprised. Like, had Jackson Dart got starts and they just looked completely inept, I think it would have made sense. But they've looked pretty good with Jackson Dart at quarterback, lost their running back, lost their star receiver. I mean, it feels like, in my personal opinion, they should have let Daboll have one season with Jackson Dart, a full season with everybody healthy, and let's see what happens then. But at the same time, this is a team that hasn't been very good under Brian Daboll, so I can understand it from both points of view, to be honest with you.
Well, my thing with it is why didn't they fire him off the Daniel Jones stuff? Because the biggest error of the whole Brian Dable era, they had this first year, they made the playoffs, and they beat the Vikings in the playoffs. Jones had his best year, and then he got hurt. They gave him that 4 years, $160 million. He got hurt, and then they had him playing safety and practice after they benched him last year, and they had to eat that contract. I thought that's what had gotten him fired. But they kept him, and they kept Joe Schoen, the GM, and then they hit on Dart, and Dable's done a damn good job with Dart. I mean, I guess when you look at this year, they should have started Dart from the beginning because everybody knew Wilson wasn't the future, and Dart looked so good in preseason. They started 0-3. Maybe they should have started in the beginning. But Dable's doing a good job with Dart. Dart's like, and they would have won that game if he hadn't gotten that concussion yesterday. They lost because he got hurt. I don't know. I get that they may not be keeping him long term, but they should have fired him after the Jones thing. Like, I don't get it in the middle of this, especially when Dart's looking good. I don't know. It seems odd to me.
They have to have a coach in mind already that they think will operate well with Jackson Dart. That's the only thing that really makes sense to me in the end here. Is like they clearly have a man in mind that they think is going to give them a better chance to win with Jackson Dart than Brian Daboll is. But all things considered, like losing all your players, I thought the Giants have been much better than anyone expected them to be. They've been much more competitive. The defense obviously still sucks, but
it's got pieces.
Personnel.
I mean, yeah, the defense, the secondary sucks, but man, you got Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Thibodeau up front. I mean, you got pieces to build around, and if Neighbors is obviously Neighbors, I mean, Theo Johnson looks like a solid young tight end. I don't know. I mean, there's pieces to build around. It's just weird. And like you said, maybe they got somebody in mind. I mean, I know this would be a long shot, and I hope it's not true, but man, what if Lane reunited with Dart up there? That'd be something. I don't want him to leave Ole Miss, but that would be wild.
You mean as a head coach or an offensive coordinator?
Coach.
Yeah, I personally think Lane's probably more fit for the college ranks, but I mean, you never know. Anything could possibly happen. It's certainly possible. I think he would be a great NFL offensive coordinator. I don't know. He could be a head coach too. We'll see. I don't know that he's the guy that they have.
I mean, he never leave to be an OC though. He don't.
Yeah, true. The main thing is, like, if you were going to fire Brian Daboll, you should have done it at the end of last year. If you were going to bring him into this season, you need to let this thing roll out with Jackson Dart. So I think they kind of missed the mark, whichever way they decided to go with it. And it was earlier today. So it was surprising news for sure.
The other name I think that would be real interesting there, and I know they had a horrible game yesterday, so it didn't help a stock, but Bills offensive coordinator Joe Brady, who was the OC of the LSU 19 team, obviously Josh Allen's a once-in-a-lifetime talent, and he had a bad game yesterday, but I think Joe Brady's a name that would make a lot of sense here too, with what he's done with Allen.
Yeah, C-Lark, what's up? What's up, brother? He was actually just asking, as you were saying that, does Kiffin or Sark get a look at an NFL job at all, or is Kiffin going to stick in college football forever? And you seem to think that maybe Kiffin would go to the NFL.
I don't know. The thing is, he hates cold weather. Could Lane go to Miami? He's a Miami guy. He's a Florida guy. I don't know if he likes tour or not. But, maybe McDaniel's saving that after that win yesterday against Miami. I don't know. Who knows? But it just, the whole way the Giants handled this is interesting because they drafted Dart. They've obviously hit on their franchise quarterback for the future. There's pieces in play. There must be somebody in mind that they really want. That's all I can think of here. Because it's odd. And I get that they're mad they've blown the Broncos and Bears games, but they lost yesterday because Dart got that concussion. That was why they lost. So, but for the Bears, 6-3, a lot of excitement in the office. Obviously don't think the Bears are any kind of like an elite team, but you do got to give Ben Johnson a lot of credit because they've changed the culture this year. Yeah, the Raiders, Bengals, and Giants may all suck, but those are 3 games the Bears weren't winning the last few years. And they found a way to pull it all out, on the road at the Raiders. They had a field goal block, that crazy ending, the Bengals game. But there's something to be said for switching the culture and finding a way to pull those games out. I do think their record's a little inflated at 6-3. But having said that, it's been a really positive year one, no matter what, for Ben Johnson, in my opinion.
Oh, and you're absolutely right. He is just the way he handles the locker room after wins. I'm sure you've seen all the videos coming out. Like, it's very evident he's a legitimate head coach in this league. I think this team in year 2 especially could be a threat. Another year in the system for Caleb Williams. He's able to refine some of his game. I don't think they're a real threat right now. I agree with everything you said. The record feels inflated. They're beating bad teams. I need to see them beat good teams. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a lot of games to be played this season that I think the Bears are probably going to lose, but things are headed in the right direction. I'll be curious to see if they can finish off the season strong and make the playoffs, because right now the NFC is really strong as far as the records are concerned. So they're kind of right there on the precipice.
Well, it's interesting because when you look at the NFC playoff picture, you're only one team's coming out of the South and the East for sure. Because the Bucs, that South, the Atlanta only has 3 wins. They've been a huge disappointment. Raheem Morris's clock management, that was just so atrocious yesterday in that Berlin loss to the Colts in overtime. And then you look at the East is collapsing other than the Eagles. But, you look at that NFC North, you got 3 playoff contenders, the Lions, Packers, and Bears, and then you got 3 as well in the West, with the Rams, Seahawks, and Niners. So, there's going to be 3 wild card spots, and the Rams or the Seahawks are getting one of them because both those teams are going to make it. And then you got to think Lions, both one of the Lions or Packers, both of them are probably going to make it too. So it's going to come down to the Bears or the Niners for the last one is my prediction.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Right now, would you think that the 49ers or the Bears are more likely to make the playoffs at this point?
Bears' schedule gets a lot tougher later, but, man, the Niners, I know that they're 6-4, and Shanahan's such a great coach, but so many injuries. Losing Fred Warner is just such a killer. They're so beat up. And speaking, that segues right into another point. You said it on that Rams-Niners game. You like the Rams, dude. The Rams right now, Matt Stafford, look, I know the Drake May hype, and I get it. Drake May's 8-2. But Matt Stafford's NFL MVP, man. What is it, 3 straight weeks with over 4 touchdowns and no picks? Freaking unbelievable. He's 38 years old, having the best season of his career. And this Rams team, that Devontae Adams signing, which I liked at the time when they got him, and people were criticizing it, and I called exactly what's happened. McVay knows how to throw in the red zone to receivers better than anybody. He's really creative with it. Adams has scored a touchdown like 5 weeks in a row. Having him and Puka, that young, talented defense, man, I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL right now. They're 5-1 to win the Super Bowl. Unbelievable. The whole thing, can Stafford stay healthy? Or are they going to be healthy entering the playoffs? But, man, if so, they're going to be tough to beat.
We talked about this in our preseason preview I picked the Rams to win the Super Bowl. My biggest concern this season was Matthew Stafford's health because he had all those back questions coming into the year. The back has held up. The offense looks incredible. The defense is solid as can be. They got a pass rush. They defend on the back end. They're doing a much better job this season at stopping the run than they did last year. That was a huge concern with them last year, was how poorly they did against the run. But they're doing a much better job this season. They look like right now a more complete team than the Eagles, who would have been and probably should still be the favorites in the NFC because they won it last year. But I feel like the Rams are a more explosive team at this point. I know they lost a close game to the Eagles, a game they very easily could have and should have won. I don't know, man. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. They looked like it on Sunday. They beat up the 49ers, who, even though they're injury depleted, that's a
still,
great
though,
coach
no,
team.
that Rams-Niners,
Great
all
coach
those
team.
games are always close. That's a big rivalry.
Yep.
And they came out
Big
and
win.
handled them. And the other team we got to talk about in the NFC to me is Seattle. Because, man, Seattle, dude, what the hell? They had 2 defensive touchdowns by the same guy in the first half. Dude, that game was 35-0 with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter. And when the Saints went up there week 3, it was like that. And this team, with the way Darnold's looking in the Click Kubiak offense, and JSN's emerged as the best. He's leading the NFL in receiving. Their defense is ferocious. You know, I don't know, man. The Seahawks and Rams play next week, and
Yep.
you know, I know we're talking Rams Super Bowl, but you got to get through Seattle. Seattle only has 2 losses. I mean, you got to get through them. You have to, because if you want to get the home field.
I think it's probably the game of the season to this point. Like, obviously, you know, Bills, Chiefs, it has the marquee names and all of the history of the last couple seasons. But as far as this season in particular is concerned, 3 o'clock on Sunday in Los Angeles is the game of the year. Seahawks and Rams both coming in 7-2, battling for the NFC West. Just an elite matchup. I think the Rams win that game, win it convincingly, and I think they show people that Seattle is not on their level, in my personal opinion. I think the Seahawks are a very good team. I think they're a playoff team, no doubt about it. I think they're very good. I just think they are not on the level of the Rams and the Eagles at this point. That's just my personal opinion. We'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, no doubt. Some other NFL stuff I want to touch on. I just have something I got to say to Saints fans, because the Saints got their second win of the year, 17-7 in Carolina, in a game that 12 people probably watched. But here's the thing. Everybody's talking on Twitter. There's all this debate. Oh, this sucks. We're hurting our draft pick with that win. F that. Tyler Shuck got drafted second round because Kellen Moore liked him, and I doubted. I'm not going to sit here and say I thought he'd be good. I'm happy the Saints won yesterday. He played a hell of a game. He went 19-28, 282 yards. He was awesome on third down. Look, it's more important to the future of the Saints that Shuck looks good going forward than you tank for a number 1 pick in a draft that doesn't have a surefire number 1 quarterback anyway. So this whole narrative that it was bad for the Saints to win yesterday, screw that, dude. I'm pumped that Shuck had a good game. They're playing without 3 linemen. They traded Shaheed. He was money on third down. It's the first thing I've been encouraged about all season. So let me have my moment.
Yeah, and you deserve it. They played great, Shuck. I mean, he looked good. Threw for 282, 2 touchdowns, took care of the football. That's the most important thing. The best thing about the Saints on Sunday were their uniforms. Those all whites are so sick. I personally think they're the best uniforms of any team in the NFL. When the Saints wear the all whites with the white helmets, best uniform in all of football, in my opinion. I love it. Absolutely love it. And maybe it's got some good mojo on it. Saints should wear that a little bit more on the road. But look, it's a good win for the future, in the fact that you saw good stuff out of Tyler Shuck, and it may cost you a draft pick down the road. But are you willing to move, or draft position down the road? A win for your rookie quarterback, I think, is more important than drafting second instead of third, or whatever it may be.
Yeah, well, the whole thing is if Shuck actually looks competent and can, you know, there's a reason they took him 40th overall, highest drafted Saints quarterback since Archie Manning. Look, I'm not sitting here saying I'd be lying if I said I thought he was going to be good, but Kellen Moore obviously loved him, and if you trust your coach to develop quarterbacks, you got to give him a long look. Look, this is the first time I've been encouraged about the Saints all season, so I'm going to enjoy my victory Monday, and that's just my thoughts, and I hate this whole narrative. Like, be happy you win. It's pro football. It's hard to win. Yep. Is my thoughts. Some other stuff from yesterday I want to touch on. A lot of ass whippings yesterday, especially in the late slate. The gambling stuff on DraftKings, I'm trying to be more selective, Moody, because what I've noticed gets me, I've preached that this year, but there was only one NFL game I liked this week. It was Detroit. I was just like, they're 12-0 off losses, and they came out and kicked the shit out of the Commanders. I don't know if you saw Donald Trump in the booth. That was pretty funny. But yeah, Detroit, big bounce back. Was happy about that. Any thoughts on how bad Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers looked last night? Because that was abysmal on Sunday Night Football.
I mean, I think part of that he missed a lot of passes. I mean, there were some open receivers that he missed. I thought both teams looked pretty sloppy last night. I thought
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
just an
ugly.
ugly game all the way around. I know the Chargers defense played well. I could give the Chargers defense credit. They were the best unit on the field. Herbert missed open throws, drop balls by both teams. It was just an ugly game. And you've talked about this in the past, like the Steelers at home as underdogs are so damn good. They're not quite as good as dogs on the road. And I think this was one of those examples of that. And I'm not necessarily worried about the Steelers. I think the Steelers are exactly what we thought they would be.
Yeah,
A
that's what
middle
they
of the
are
road
every
team,
year.
just like they always are.
I
Every
mean, they're
single
going to
year,
be 9-8 or
exactly what they are.
10-7, and they might sneak into the wild card, but they're not a threat to win because they don't have enough offense. Same damn
Yeah, it's
team every year.
same shit. Yep.
Yeah, it's the same team every year. Another NFL story I got to touch on: the Patriots, 8-2 now. I mean, look at this year: Patriots, Broncos, and Colts atop the AFC. Wow! But another great game from Drake May on the road. Huge win. A wild sequence before the half where Vrabel was trying to run the clock out, and then they had a 4th and goal at the 2, and they went for it with 2 seconds left. And Stephon Diggs made a hell of a play getting that toe tap in the end zone. To me, that's the play that got him the momentum to come back because they got him up 14-10 at half, and they came out and scored that opening drive of the second half. That play won that game for him. Was very ballsy by Vrabel because if that gets stopped, he would have definitely gotten questioned. But fortune favors the bold. And with Buffalo falling in Miami, real rough effort from the Bills yesterday off that Chiefs loss. I mean, all of a sudden – you're looking at New England has the head-to-head win over Buffalo already in Buffalo. I mean, New England, Dave Portnoy talking in Tampa, he's already booking Super Bowl rooms, but Pat's, it's a real thing.
I've got a little different take on that game. It's not Drake May that won them that game. It's Travion Henderson that won them that damn football game. 2 long touchdown runs. He only had 14 carries. He went for 147 and 2 scores, like a 55-yarder and a 59-yarder, whatever, or a 69-yarder. He won them that game. Drake May did not play that great. He was completed 50% of his passes, had an interception. I mean, he played okay. I'm not saying he played bad, but he played okay. Travion Henderson pulled their ass out of the fire in that game with 2 long touchdown runs. So I think he deserves a ton of credit. And it was good to see because it feels like that Patriots coaching staff hates Travion Henderson. I mean, they vulture him at the goal line. They don't give him the amount of touches he's needed. He's clearly the best running back that they have, even when Ramondre Stevenson is healthy. So like the Patriots for me I still have a lot of questions. I'm still not the biggest Drake May believer. He's playing decent football for sure, taking care of the ball. He's playing well. He's playing well. I'm still not a big believer in New England just yet.
Well, he damn sure doesn't deserve the MVP over Stafford. I mean,
100%.
Look, that much I can promise. Any other big NFL observations for you from yesterday?
I thought the Dolphins beating the Bills was just hilarious in a way. Like, Buffalo, what are you doing in that game? They played probably their worst. That was maybe the worst game played by Buffalo in the last since they drafted Josh Allen. I mean, that was awful. The Jets beating the Browns. Dylan Gabriel is not the guy, man. It's just like he's bad. It's time to see Shadur. I mean, I don't think he's going to be that much better, but we need to see him at this point.
Yeah, give him a look. No, at this point, you're throwing darts at the wall. Give him a look. No, I don't disagree. Well, that Jets game was crazy because the Jets had 59 yards in the first half and 17 points. Like, how the hell does that even happen? Yep. Fields had like 4 yards passing in the first half. It was crazy.
Yeah, and the Browns are not running the football as effectively as they need to be if they're going to win the way.
Yeah, just because it's because Gabriel. They don't respect Gabriel. Everybody's stacking the box.
They cannot throw the football downfield because of Dylan Gabriel. They're taking no shots, and when he tries to take shots downfield, they're underthrown. They do not respect the downfield passing game, and that's, like you said, bringing everybody down in the box, and they're just stuffing the hell out of the run. So the Browns, they got to go to Shadur. I don't think he's going to be some superstar, but I do think he can be better than Dylan Gabriel. I do think that. And then the other thing that we have to talk about, Jonathan Taylor as MVP.
Yes.
I look, I know it's become a quarterback award, but Jonathan Taylor freaking deserves a legitimate look at this point. Went for damn near 300 yards of total offense, 3 touchdowns, won him the game in overtime with another long run. he is doing a sensational job carrying the rock. Toted it 32 times in that game. That deserves MVP consideration. It would be cool to see a running back win it once again. And it feels like he is doing more for this team than Saquon did last year for the Eagles, because the Eagles were so good defensively. They had Hurts. And I'm not saying Daniel Jones hasn't played well.
No, I
I
agree,
think
but
this
the
year's
running game is what makes it go. It's the running
the running
game and
game
then
is what makes
Jones
it go.
compliment. Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I think Jonathan Taylor deserves more consideration for the MVP than any running back in recent memory.
All right, let's hit with this. We got a good Monday night game, and then I've got some college football stuff I want to talk about. All right. So Monday night we got Eagles plus 1.5 at Green Bay, over under 45.5. It's 28 degrees with 15-mile-an-hour winds, but no snow. So stuff to get into. It's Monday night game. Green Bay needs this one bad off that horrible loss at home to Carolina. Tucker Kraft out for the year is a big blow to that offense and how important he is. On the Eagles side of it, they're off the bye. Nolan Smith's back. They traded for Jalen Phillips. They're healthy again, and Sirianni and Hurts have never lost off a bye. I don't have a read on who's going to win this game, because you got to think, the thing is, Green Bay's got to give a huge effort tonight. I don't know if that's enough to beat Philly, but this is a spot where they're usually so good at home, and they're in this crowded NFC North. They freaking need this game. They need it bad. Philly doesn't. They're off a bye. They don't necessarily need it because of the way the NFC East is. But as I said, they're getting healthier. My thoughts on this game were I lean under 45.5. I think it's going to be a grind. Philly's run defense, when Jalen Carter's been in there, has been one of the best in pro football. In the 2 games he missed, it cratered. And Green Bay, like I said, Matthew Golden's questionable. Obviously, Kraft's out for the year. Love had a bad game. Real bad game last week. I lean under 45.5, so my parlay I went ahead and threw it in there. Look, I went Christian Watson over 80 and a touchdown and under 45.5 at 24-1. Just because Watson's so boom or bust. But if he catches a long touchdown and the game goes under, I feel like that happens like 1 out of every 10 or 12 times, not 24. So I thought that was my flyer for the game.
I like the under in this game as well. I don't trust the Packers offense right now.
No.
And I think this is a tough test against Philly. And like you said, Philly coming out of a bye, they're getting healthier. I think you see not quite the same Philly that we saw last year, but some strong semblance of it tonight. I think they will show up and play a really good game. I like Philadelphia in this game. I just don't think without Tucker Kraft that the Packers have enough firepower on the outside. Golden's been beat up. He hadn't practiced much over the last week or so. So I like Philly in this game. I like under 45.5 or 44.5, whatever it's at right now. And I like the Eagles to win this game as well.
Is Jordan Love good? Because every time you think he looks real good and real efficient, because he has some great games, but then he just is so erratic. I feel like, I don't know, I can't figure it out.
I think he's better than average, but not great. So I guess that would make him good. He's just
they got a good run, but also they got a great play caller on the floor. They run the ball with Jacobs. I feel like they prop him up a little bit.
He has these games though where you're like, damn man,
like that game he had in with the Cowboys playoff game 2 years ago.
Yeah. He makes you think that he's the dude, and then he has these awful showings. They also don't have great receivers. Like Dobbs is solid. Watson's a downfield threat. Golden hasn't quite emerged the way that we thought he would.
Reed's the most hit and miss guy in the NFL.
Yeah, their outside weapons are not great. They're solid, but they're not great. And I don't think that he has elevated them to great status. So I would say he's a good quarterback, but I don't know that he's a guy you can win a Super Bowl with the current players you have on the outside.
Okay. That's fair. Well, anyway, that's my parlay. Watson over 80 and a touchdown and under 45.5 is the Mintz parlay for tonight. DraftKings is a 20% boost, but the DraftKings one was for 5 legs tonight. And so I just was like, I'd rather keep it simple with 3. And if Watson catches a long touchdown, we got a shot at 24-1. That was my thoughts on tonight.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I like the under the most from anything in this game. I think Philly, the one thing to pay attention to tonight is Tank Bigsby. Will he get more carries? At the end of the game 2 weeks ago, Saquon Barkley came out early because he tweaked his not his hamstring, but his groin. And so he's practiced. Everything appears to be fine. But I think there's a legitimate chance, especially if they're up in this game, they don't use Saquon as much in the second half.
Okay. I agree with that. I want to touch on some college football from the weekend chat, as always. Fire away. I've got a college football take I got to get off my skin that I was going off about on Twitter, Moody. I got a take.
What you got? What you got?
This Heisman Trophy odds. I'm looking at DraftKings right now. And Mendoza had a Heisman moment in that fourth. Did you watch any college football Saturday?
I watched a little bit. Yeah, I watched the marquee games.
Okay. Well, there was the Indiana Penn State. I mean, look. I'm gonna give a ton of credit to Indiana. Oh, you got, and also like people are nationally like, oh, Indiana barely beat a bad Penn State team. You're gonna have a road game like that in college football. They were, Penn State was getting like they were down 20-7 and scored 17 unanswered at home. And when the game was on the line, Mendoza stepped up and won it. You got to give him credit. And you only won by 3, whatever. I thought that said a lot about their team to pull that game out. Having said that,
and it's the thing is, it's not like Penn State doesn't have a bunch of dudes over there either. Like that's a program that spent tons of money in NIL. I know they didn't get what they wanted out of Franklin, but they got a ton of talent at Penn State still. So that's a great win for Indiana on the road in a place they haven't won in ages.
Yeah, exactly. I think the narrative's overblown on it. All right, current Heisman Trophy odds: Julian Sayin plus 165, Fernando Mendoza plus 185, Ty Simpson Bama plus 450, Marcel Reed A&M 8-1, Diego Pavia 17-1. My rant is this: this is horse shit that Diego Pavia isn't he should be right there for it. What he has done at Vandy this year, Moody. I watched that whole Auburn Vandy game. Dude, Auburn has been, their defense all year has been one of the best in the SEC. They just hadn't been able to score. Pavia had 489 yards and 4 touchdowns against them on Saturday. He had 370 passing, 7 passing, 112 rushing. He freaking won that game by himself. Dude, it was one of the best efforts. The last week at Texas, he had 365 and 4 touchdowns, lost 34-31. They're 8-2 at Vanderbilt. If they have a bye week then Kentucky at home and at Tennessee, that at Tennessee game is going to be tough as shit for them because they can't stop anybody, and they're going to have to score like 40 to win. But if they win these 2 games, you go 10-2 at Vandy and do what he's done, that's more impressive than Mendoza going undefeated with playing 2 games a year with a team that was 11-1 last year, or Julian Sayin what he's doing at Ohio State, just killing everybody. They beat Texas 14-7 in their one marquee game. To me, it's a joke. And I went off on Twitter after the Auburn game about it. Pavia was 35-1 then. He's now 17-1, so I guess people heard me. But I'm telling you, what he's doing at Vandy is all-time historic. And you could say whatever you want about the teams and stuff. You put Julian Sayin on Vandy or Mendoza on Vandy, do you think they're 8-2? What Pavia's doing, he is carrying that freaking team to levels we've never seen at that school. They've played a hard SEC schedule. Every week's a tough game, whether it's Missouri or Auburn or at Texas, at Tennessee, at Bama. I mean, he's not playing. I mean, dude, Indiana, I love what they're doing. I respect them, but it's been a 2-game season. They had at Oregon and at Penn State. We're in November. Ohio State beat Texas 14-7 week 1. They're killing everybody. They're the best team. I'm not saying they're not great. But, what Pavia's doing at Vandy, I feel like people are giving him some respect. He deserves way more. I mean, what he's doing, we're legitimately talking about Vanderbilt in the playoffs. They're 2 games away from it. If they win Kentucky and at Tennessee, they go 10-2. He's it. They're going to the damn playoffs. If you win 10 games at Vandy with a talent level there and what he's doing, you give that man the Heisman Trophy he freaking deserves. I'm pissed about it. It's a joke.
I agree with you completely. I agree with everything you said. He needs a massive showing to upset Tennessee on the road.
He's going to have to score. They're going to have to score. For them to win that game, he's got to score 45 points. Because Tennessee's offense at home is going to score a lot against Vandy.
100%. And I'm telling you, if he's going to win it, his odds should be better at this point. I agree with you.
Well, they went down. They were 35-1 after the game Saturday, and I tweeted about it. I was like, this is a joke. And then it went to 20 Sunday morning, and now it's down to 17. So apparently there's some sentiment.
I think it should be even better than that. I think it should probably be 10-1 at this point. But he's gotta show off. I mean, completely show out at Tennessee on the road. That's a massive game for them. If he goes out there, beats Tennessee on the road, puts Vandy into the playoff, and has just an epic showing against them, I do think he deserves to be the Heisman. Obviously, Julian's saying because they're undefeated, they're probably going to go undefeated. He's
Throwing to
playing great
Jeremiah
football
Smith
too.
and Cornell Lake and playing Purdue every week, you know.
I don't disagree. The talent level's better, the defense is better. I agree on everything, but he's taking care of his business as well. I don't think Mendoza is on the level of Sayin. For me, it's Sayin and then Pavia. Those should be the top two front runners right now. And I agree with you completely on Pavia, though.
I do want to mention, though, Marcel Reed in there deserves to be in there, too, because A&M's having an all-time historic season. And I went to that Notre Dame game when they scored 41 points, and he was hurt as hell in that game. He got lit up. His shoulder got lit up before half. He had another injury he was playing with. He threw that fourth down touchdown to win that game. And that game I saw at South Bend springboarded the whole A&M program. That might have been the way this A&M season's going with their history. I might have seen the night the program turned around. And if A&M, I'll say this, if they go undefeated, because now they got South Carolina at home, Samford at home, at Texas, and then it looks like an A&M Bama SEC championship is what would be the possible matchup. You go undefeated and you win the SEC championship, I don't have a problem with him winning it. But I don't know. My thoughts are the Big Ten quarterbacks are just getting too much love because they don't play anybody. And as good as Mendoza's last drive was, and it was epic, I mean, he had 220 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. You know, Pavia's out there 489 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, come on. That's my rant.
The only thing I will add is that Marcel Reed is quite a ways behind as far as like QBR and all these, the analytics of how.
Yeah, A&M runs they run the crap out of the football.
Yeah, he's not quite there on these other guys' level. Like Pavia's not too far behind Sayin. Sayin's number 1 in the country in QBR. Like if you look at his raw grade, like he's the guy as far as all the analytics are concerned. But that doesn't take into account the team around you and the situations, all of that. So I think we have a very interesting race down the stretch, though, and it's yet to be won by any of these guys. HTTR was asking, should I cash out my Sayin for Heisman ticket?
Please respond. And what do you have it at?
Yeah,
like what odds do you have it at? Because I think I would. If you're getting a good price though, because we need more details. But he's plus 165 right now. There's still 3 other candidates that could run him down. I mean, I would. If you're getting a good price, I would do it. I would.
I would. Tough. I think he's probably going to ultimately win the Heisman here. If
I mean, he should be the favorite because you would think Ohio State's going to beat Indiana and Indianapolis, and for Reed or Pavia to run him down, Reed's got to go undefeated and beat Bama and go 13-0, and Pavia has to win the next 2, and he still might. I don't know if he has enough support even if he wins the next 2 to win it.
Yeah,
he should though.
Agreed.
I mean, what he's doing at Vandy, dude. I mean, you take him off that team, they're 8-2. If he's off that team, what are they? 4-6, 5-5?
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, I don't know if the Heisman's like, is the Heisman the MVP? Because there's nobody that means more to their football team than what Pavia does to Vandy. Nobody. It's not even close. You take him off that team where they are.
How much are you taking into consideration the team record versus the actual individual play? I mean, there's been years that we've seen it kind of contradict itself one way or the other. It's just going to depend on how the voters are feeling about this season in particular. Chadwick Moffitt, who's both of your teams that you think will sneak in to the college football playoff? Something surprising.
Okay. The battle for the G5 spot's real interesting right now because James Madison's got a shot if they win out. And that battle, that's another thing I got to mention on here. Shout out John Sumrall and Tulane. Everybody was crapping on Tulane and Sumrall after they got rolled at UT San Antonio. Come out, 3.5-point underdog, win on the road at Memphis on a Friday night. Epic win for Tulane. Epic. Like, totally makes up for the UTSA game and then some. Because now Memphis is pretty much out of that conference championship race with 2 losses in that league. So you got Tulane 1 loss, South Florida 1 loss, North Texas 1 loss. This thing is still wide open, but just got to give Tulane a ton of credit. I would love to see Tulane win out and get in there because they, I'll tell you one thing that gives Tulane helps them. Their losses are Ole Miss and UT San Antonio. Moody, Duke could win the ACC, and that Tulane win over Duke is big. Right now, Georgia Tech, the favorite, Duke second. That ACC, nobody wants to win it. Virginia and Louisville both just screwing up wet dreams. basically, over the weekend. I'm going to go with Georgia Tech. I believe Georgia Tech's going to win the ACC because I believe in Haynes King. I don't think that's a surprise. Who's going to win? I feel like South Florida's the best team in the AC and probably going to win it. I think they're more complete than Tulane. I just think they got more offense. I don't know. Like, I know I'm singing Pavia's praises, Moody, but I don't know if they can win at Tennessee. I mean, he's going to have to do some shit in that game to win that game because Tennessee's going to score a ton of points. Notre Dame's looking like they're kind of locked into a playoff spot now. So, I mean, I don't know that I have a really surprising take. I know Texas has a shot. You know, if Texas wins out, they'll make it, but they got at Georgia and A&M at home still. So, I mean, they're going to drop one of those. They're a 5-point underdog at Georgia. You know what? You want a surprise take? Oklahoma could still make it. Oklahoma's a 6.5-point underdog at Alabama this week. They got a legit shot with that defense. They have a chance in that game. So if I had a surprise that Oklahoma really still has a shot.
Well, my answer was actually going to be Texas is the team that I think can find a way in. They got to be Georgia and Texas A&M. They deserve to get in if they can finish.
Oh, no doubt
with those 2 wins.
No, if you go win on the road in Athens, Georgia, this weekend will decide it. I mean, you go win on the road in Athens, Georgia, no doubt about it.
And look, this is I think they're talented enough to potentially get it done. I know that sounds crazy. Arch Manning getting slightly better week by week. The question is, has he gotten good enough, quick enough to go take down Georgia? Because that game, and then that sets up a massive game against Texas A&M. So I guess Texas, everybody at the beginning of the season, it wouldn't have been a surprise. Right now, I feel like it would be a surprise for them to get in. But I think they have a solid shot to maybe shock the world right here down the stretch.
Yeah. No, I think it's possible. It's just such a tough schedule. I mean, it's at Georgia and A&M at home, man. You win in Athens, though. It's on if they win Saturday. It's just that is a brutally tough one. And then also, I got to mention my game. I was all over it. I talked to you about it all the time, Moody, the Texas Tech over BYU. I was saying it all week, 2-unit play, that Texas Tech was going to make a national statement, and they did it. They beat the shit out of BYU. They beat them 29-7, but BYU only had 4 plays across the 50 the whole game. But Texas Tech's best team in the Big 12. It ain't even close. And I think there's a chance. I mean, they're very legitimately good. And they're looking at a home playoff game. I don't know if they can quite get a top 4 seed, but they're I know the Big 12 doesn't get the love, but because the reason Texas Tech, they have spent so much money on their roster, but that defensive line gives them a chance to make a real playoff run. They got NFL dudes everywhere. And so you got to respect the Red Raiders.
No, you do, and it's really because of their defense. I mean, Morton's a good quarterback. He takes care of the ball for the most part. He throws a good ball, but we need to see them against better competition. And I think they end up winning the Big 12. I'm a little bit worried about them offensively if they match up against a team like an Ohio State or something. Like, it just doesn't feel like they're really ready to compete just yet.
Well, we're going to find out now, aren't we? Mm-hmm. But a lot of great college football stuff over the weekend. As I said, we got a stream. Part of my takes got a stream tonight for Eagles-Packers. I mentioned this at the start, Moody. Shout out Charleston, South Carolina. I mean, it's the jewel of the South. Every time I go, I love it more and more. Had a huge time at Holy Smokes. I'll have a video log out tomorrow. Awesome barbecue festival. It was a beautiful day at Riverfront Park Saturday. Man, just so much fun. Got to hang out with my namesake. My buddy named his dog Benny after me, so I got to hang out with a little French bulldog all weekend. Just couldn't have more fun. And a lot of stuff, as always, going on. We got a fun Barstool After Dark tomorrow night that may take 3 days. It's a golf and tennis thing, hitting perfect shots. Was in a meeting about that earlier, so that'll be a lot of fun. But, as always, the stool keeps you busy.
I did see that video from your Barstool After Dark meeting. Did you figure out what's on your hoodie? And I noticed it's still there.
I've
got to guess. I think it's toothpaste. Did you brush your teeth?
Yep, that's what it is. That's probably what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I had some flight problems this morning because Chicago had bad weather, and I thought I was going to have a 2-hour delay, and it was a 1-hour delay. So the Barstool After Dark Monday morning meeting's at 11 a.m., and I walked in at 11:03, which I thought was good considering I have flight travel stuff.
Did you know that there were other things going on in the world that are delaying flights currently?
Yeah, but they got the government shutdown figured out.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll get that. They did get it figured out, but I don't think that'll really go into effect. So flights have been delayed for people all over the place. But it
Weather
sounds like
too.
you weren't too like, yeah, in
No,
weather. So
I thought I was gonna be looking at it like a lost day. Hank beat the crap out
uh,
of me in the Act Gauntlet tourney earlier, by the way. Maybe you knew that.
yeah, I kind of figured they would be on your ass a little bit. Stone Papa Smurfs is nothing like a road soda and Wake Up Mints. Ripping a bowl for you boys. Shout out. We appreciate that one.
There you go. I kind of been off it lately, but
I,
yeah.
you know what? Me as well. I have not. I mean, occasionally I partake, but I mean, I used to be an everyday user, and I've definitely slowed it down a little bit as of late.
Yeah, respect it. We're just getting older. Can't handle it. It's too strong. It's too
Unfortunate.
strong, man. It's like
Unfortunate.
back in the day, like it wouldn't rip your head off like it does now. It's crazy. Just getting old
No,
and paranoid.
it's insane the percentage of THC that's in some of this stuff, and I mean, brother, you'd be outside paranoid these days. It
Dude,
really is completely different.
it's been a problem for me for sure. So I had to
Yeah.
get away
Uh,
from it.
Chadwick Moffat wants to know if you had chicken and waffles in South Carolina over the
I
weekend.
didn't. So okay, the best food dish I had, best thing I had at the whole festival was King's Barbecue. Had a shrimp toast with egg yolk and caviar. There was like a grilled cheese souped up with like caviar and shrimp and egg yolk. It blew me away. Also, shout out the home team crew in Charleston. I had a lamb rib taco that was like on the best tortilla I've ever had. Those are the two best bites I had in Charleston. But I didn't go chicken and waffles. But I definitely gained. I played tennis yesterday to try to burn some calories. I got the shit kicked out of me by a high school buddy that plays every week. But we're back on it today. I had a spicy chicken biscuit at Chick-fil-A this morning when my flight got delayed. But we're gonna
It's
go
not too
run.
bad.
We're all right. We're gonna go run a workout after this. I'm on week 3 of the Train Heroic app.
It could be a lot worse than a spicy chicken biscuit. Total Football 200 says Eagles win tonight. Tush push drama. Could totally see that. I also think the Eagles win tonight. And then Stone Papa Smurf says, "What's the play for tonight? Give them your play tonight."
Yeah, so I reiterated it's Watson over 80 and a touchdown because Christian Watson, if you just they take deep shots to him all the time. If you just hit one for a touchdown and then under 45.5, it's 24-1. And when I do these big long shot parlays, like I think Watson catches a bomb and this game goes over like 1 out of every 10 times it's played. So at 24-1, I think the price is good. That's my thought. And then also, if Matthew Golden is out, and I know he's questionable, so they don't know. If he's out, that helps that Watson bet.
Yeah, and it really does because they kind of play. They do the same things on offense. They're both downfield threats. Like Matthew Golden should, at some point in his career, become a better route runner and somebody you can use in the short to intermediate. But it really just hasn't been the case at this point. He has. I thought he was going to end up being a stud this season. I thought it was a great pick by the Packers before the year. I thought they finally got them a true number one. Has not turned out to be that way. They still have a bunch of number threes running around out there.
Yeah. He's flashed some, but he hadn't separated for sure.
Yeah, agreed.
But it's just the Eagles' offensive side is hard to pick in this game because it's been so erratic all year with like some games they run it with Hurts and Saquon. Some games they'll randomly throw for a bunch of yards to A.J. Brown and Devontae, but it's just been so inconsistent. Some games Goddard's getting a lot of targets. It's just very hard to pick what's going to happen.
One thing I will say, the Packers last year not as good against tight ends. They're better this season against tight ends, but I could see Goddard playing a solid role tonight. We'll see how that goes.
I got a fan. I'm curious. I've got a debt. My fantasy league. It's like I'm up 19, and he has AJ Brown and Goddard and half point PPR. It's got me 51% favorite going into tonight. It's close
Against both of them,
Yeah, but it's half point.
you have
PPR.
nothing left.
Nothing.
That's close because AJ Brown, like I keep.
I mean, he's
waiting for
so
it.
boom or bust.
So boomer bust. I keep waiting for him to find some consistency and really start balling out, but it really hasn't been the case. He's had what 2 good games this entire season, so he's either going to cook you tonight or you're going to win this thing by 10.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Chadwick Moffat says, I have Love and Barkley, and the guy I'm going against has Hurts and Smith. I'm up by 3 points. Do you think I have an edge?
Love and Barkley against Hurts and Smith. Wow, that's so close.
He's up 3. That's close. I think you're going to be sweating.
I lean Love and Barkley, but barely. Because Smith could have a bad game. But the problem is, Hurts and Smith are so tied in together. I mean.
And they've, yeah. And I'll tell you what, Devontae Smith has really been the dude the last few weeks. He's been popping off a little bit.
That Minnesota game, he had 170 yards.
Yeah, he cooked their ass. What's up, Shadizzle? Stone Papa Smurf. I was Cali sober for 3 years, and I started up again week 1 NFL. I will say, there's nothing better than getting up on a Sunday, ripping a bowl, and just chilling, watching football all day. It is one of the great things about being an American, no doubt about it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Got a couple fun interviews lined up for this week too. We're gonna catch up with former Ole Miss quarterback Bo Wallace, who has a big feud with Hugh Freeze from his times there. So it'll be fun to catch up with him this week. And then I got to line out the Tulane coach, our boy John Sumrall. We're overdue to get him back on, and so I think this is the week to do it off that Memphis win.
Do you think he ends up going somewhere next season?
I'm starting to think that he may stay at Tulane because I just think the Sumrall thing, I think Stoops may be saving his job at Kentucky with the Florida and Auburn wins the last 2 weeks, and I kind of think Sumrall wouldn't take Kentucky. I don't think he'd take Arkansas. The big one there is Auburn because Auburn's open right now, and I don't think he could say no to Auburn with his ties to that state, but I don't know if Auburn's after him. I don't have a total read on it. So I kind of think it's leaning like another year in New Orleans. Which would be great for Tulane.
I can see that.
I want to see him make the damn playoffs.
Yeah, I do too. I think it'd be incredible for him and for the city of New Orleans. Matthew Golden is a bust. Let's not sugarcoat it. I wouldn't go that far yet.
No, I think it's his first year. There's a bunch of bodies to feed. He flashed some before he got banged up. I mean, I don't know that. I feel like it's going to be hard to judge till next year. Because he's shown enough to where I would say he's not like a total bust. I mean, he's flashed.
No. And I would say that I don't think Jordan Love has played that great this season. I mean, he's only thrown 13 touchdowns on the entire year. You know, it's not like Love's out there just lighting it up with the other receivers, and Golden isn't doing anything. So but I agree he's not playing to the level that we expected him to, but I think a bust is a little bit too far.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Well, we're going to shout out Chad as always, and Stella Blue and Dude Wipes. Don't forget to take that Monday Night Football parlay. Watson over 80 and a touchdown and the under in the game, 24-1. And join us for Barstool After Dark. Be a good time tomorrow. I'm going to go see if there's any of these crabs or shrimp left. The Mega Making Money's been boiling outside. And then that's kind of my thoughts. But anyway, shout out chat. Tyler Moody, old school, ride or die. You're my dude. We'll be back later this week.